Can you coach aggression out of a quarterback? Because we're worried that's what's happened to Justin Fields.
No. Well, here's what could have happened very easily. They could have preached and beat him over the head. If it's not there, check down. If it's not there, check down. And sometimes, Dave knows this, sometimes you have more than one route going deep. You may have another complementary route on the backside and then a check down. So you actually could go through one, not a check down. You could go one, skip the check down, go to three, back to the check down. So you can look at those safeties, you can see what the coverage is, so on and so forth. So you don't have to do that.
Welcome, everybody. I know it's a little crazy, but welcome to the Bears Den in collaboration with WARR Media. Sports Zone Chicago and WARR Media are working together and doing the Bears Den tonight on our platforms, and they'll be coming through every week. And you know what? Let's talk about it. I want to introduce my co-host today. Usually it's our guy, Saul. He's unavailable tonight, but I got my guy, Joe Tanksley, in, and we're going to talk, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. I'm excited for this episode of the Bears Den.
Yeah, they gave us a lot to talk about. They left a lot of meat on the bone for us. I imagine one of those old school, John Madden turduckens. We got a lot to chew on. What's been going on? It's been really crazy, chaotic, to say the least.
To say the least. And you know what? Make sure you like this. Make sure you hit the like button. All right, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. All right, it gives you more of this content, and it's good. I'd appreciate it if you did. Let's get right to it, man. There was a lot going on at Hallis Hall yesterday. It was insane at Hallis Hall. Give me your thoughts first and foremost, because the thing that happened first, we didn't find out till last. So let's talk about the thing that happened second, because what happened first was a resignation. We didn't know about that till later. But the thing that happened second was Justin Fields. Justin Fields came out and he said he gave a list of things that were possibly holding him back and getting in his head. He mentioned coaching. He mentioned his thought process, overthinking and being a perfectionist. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people he blamed the coaches. He threw the coaches under the bus. No, I was really, really pissy about that. All right. Give me your thoughts on that.
You know what? I think, Justin did the right thing in bringing the media folks, back in and clarifying his comments. I think, a lot of times, those pundits, look for certain things to kind of pull out and put out there to get clicks or to get people to buy in and read what they're trying to say. But if you take the whole press conference in context, he was just really talking about and trying to let people in on some of the things that he's going through, and and trying to develop, and being a QB1, and all the things that go into that, and all the things that's going on in his head. And coaching is one of them. When you're playing and you're thinking about what the coaches are saying all the time, you do not play fast. You do not play carefree, because you're worrying about making a mistake. And that's what he was trying to entail. When you can't, when you got a cloudy head, you can't play fast. My coaches always used to tell me, I would rather you play fast and play hard and make a mistake than play slow and not be ready to play. And you can't play football at half speed. You can't. It's a game you got to play full speed. It's a game that you got to play with an edge, and that's pretty much what he was talking about.
Yeah, it is, and that's the thing is, like, you saw. I mean, you see from his dropbacks, you see even when he's trying to bust through, there's pressure. He wants to get up, not necessarily to run, but to buy more time. He's still doing things slow. He's still slow, and that's because he's overthinking. He's thinking everything. He talked about it. He's like, they wanted me to be a better passer, and it's this is exactly what happened. And I said it. I think I said it on the show last week, but I said on my show there. I said this is very similar, almost exactly, I should say, to the same thing that happened to Mitch Trubisky in 2019 after his 2018 year when things are good, And then all of a sudden they wanted to make him a pocket passer, stay in the passer. And Mitch, just like Justin, is a good soldier. All right, just like Justin's a good soldier, so he's in the back of his mind, he's thinking, all right, I got to win for the pocket. I got to throw for the pocket. I got to throw for the pocket. Well, right now, his best way, the way he's most effective is by running. But it's putting the defense on edge, and it's gonna, development isn't linear, so you're not going to be able. So one day he just might get it, all right. But right now, let him use his legs. You're taking one of the most explosive weapons in the entire NFL and putting it in your sheath. You're putting it like a sheath. You sheath your swords. If you remember Gladiator, sheath your swords. You're putting that in you're putting it up. And why? And then if you do that, you're not even committing to the run. So without him, so what are you doing? That's the thing that bugs me. If you ran the ball 35 times and you didn't run just as much, okay, I see it. Okay, get an identity first and foremost. Get back to being a running team that can pass the ball very well. You don't have to be a passing team. Be a running team, a great running team that passes the ball very well. And trust me, that'll take us a long, long way. We have no identity. That's the biggest issue. Once we get that, then everything will fall in line because then we know how to play. Then Getsy knows how to call plays.
And I think that's the biggest issue, that there is no identity, and everybody's kind of searching. What the identity of this offense has to come through Justin Fields. He's your quarterback and the most dynamic athlete on the field week in and week out. Arguably, there's some pretty cool guys out there, but
if he ain't the best, he's in the top two.
Right, he's in the top two. Exactly. He's definitely, I would say, in the top three of athletes out there. And I think what needs to happen is you need to get put everything at his disposal, and just let him do what he needs to do, and trust that he can do it. I think a lot of times, they get that helmet and you're talking. Give him the play, give him one or two things, and let him go.
Yeah, Vernon's talking about hope he doesn't stop. He didn't blame the coaches, man. He's telling it's the coaching, not the coaches. All right, he understands they want him to. They want him to be able to pick people apart. Okay, and he's thinking that's the thing. Like, they want me to stay. They want me to stay. They want me to stay. Also, it could be, and here's another thing that I didn't think of, and I was listening to one of the Acho brothers this morning. He said that, he goes, I've had that green dot on my helmet. He said, and sometimes the coaches, they just talk so much. I just feel like telling them to shut up. They can't hear me. I'm just, it's only a one-way radio.
Right.
He said, and he goes, I'll tell you here's what happens. So he called the defensive play. He goes, and then the defensive coordinator said, hey, listen, watch for, it's 3rd and 6. Watch for this thing. Remember, they used to run at 27% of the time on this down in this particular red zone. But if they come out in this formation, make sure they might do this. And at that point, you're like, dude, stop. I got 15 seconds left. And now you got me thinking about this, and this, as opposed to let me read my keys and go to work. So how do we know that Getsy's not in his helmet saying, hey, listen, look for this or watch this? Telling him stuff. We don't know what's going on in there. So let him be Justin Fields. And if you do, I'm not saying you're gonna win every game, that's impossible. However, you're gonna be in every game. You will be in every game if you let Justin Fields be Justin Fields. Give me your thoughts on his calling the press back after the press conference to kind of.
I think it was something that needed to be done. I think this is a young man that's going to take ownership of his actions and the things that he says and ultimately his play on the field. And I think that's what he was attempting to do. And I think he needed to point that out. He felt like he needed to point that out. I like that he was demonstrative and very clear in what he was trying to say, what he was trying to convey. And I think that the thing with Justin is, I think he hasn't had a clean start to his career. Ryan Poles said it this morning in the press conference. He hasn't had it, and it's a lot of it is not on him, and some of it is. But he's always going to be that good soldier. He was bred to, play this position, and I think he understands all that comes with it. And I think it was unfair, to pull that one part out and to run with it and not put the whole thing in context. And I think he was, trying to, stick up for himself, and also, stick up for his coaches as well. I think this is a challenging situation. You got pretty much a brand new team. You got some new players in. Like Ryan Poe said, you're going to need some time on task. It's going to take time to work together. The offensive line is not really, is banged up. They just put Braxton Jones on the IR with a neck injury. And so this is, life in the NFL, especially when you're trying to rebuild a team. And a lot of it, like you said earlier, is not going to be linear. Now we were disappointed because they lost to Green Bay. We were disappointed because they could have played better, a little bit better, and won that Bucs game. But this is the growing pains of having a young roster and, trying to figure out how to win. I think ultimately they'll be able to do that because I believe in Justin and his ability to lead. And and him saying F it, saying I'm going to go do what I know how to do. That's him taking ownership of his play and what he needs to do to right the ship.
Yeah, it was a cry for help, but he just wanted, he was pissed. He was pissed. And
Right.
He should be, he should be, because you take that out of context and I don't care how many people jump on and say he threw his coaches under the bus. No. All right. He said coaching probably, but also it's me being imperfect. So what he means by being perfect is like, okay, I want to do this. I want to please the coaches. I want to win from the pocket. Okay. But there's certain times you just got to go. All right.
Right.
You have to, your instincts. What I think he did was he turned off his instincts because he wanted to be a good soldier again.
Right.
All right. I think that's the issue, and that he's got to stop that. And Robert's talking about Justin needs to learn to play QB at the professional level. He holds onto the ball entirely too long, and his pocket awareness is horrible. It's not horrible. Okay, it's not horrible. Coach, here's the issue. Being a good soldier, this is what he's trying to stay in the pocket. He's trying to win from the pocket. Okay. Getsy talked about it today, where he said he was trying to give Darnell Mooney an extra pump, an extra step, a chance to get open. What Justin Fields needs to learn how to do is, if your guy's not open, come off him. That's simple. You can't wait. Not at this level. Okay. You cannot wait. And here's the cool part. You've got other receivers that you can go to that you don't have any issue with. Like if he's waiting for Darnell Mooney, guess what? You come off him, you got DJ Moore. And damn well you trust DJ Moore. If you're waiting for DJ Moore and he's not open, you got Darnell Mooney because you trust Darnell Mooney. You also trust Cole Kmet. Okay, so you have other people that you can come to, and then you go to the sideline and say, hey, boss, I tried to wait for you, but I had to come off because whatever. And a wide receiver, the receiver, like, you know what, bet, you're right. I got to get open. Don't wait on me, okay? Because if they have me bracketed or you see the safety coming over, go to somebody else, make it a good play. That's what he needs to learn how to do. All right, he needs to get a little more asshole in him. All right, he's too much of a good soldier, okay? And if you think about all the great quarterbacks, all right, you go from Rodgers to Brady to Favre to Marino to all these guys. They have that asshole in them where they're like, they're going to take control. They're not going to be told what to do and follow it, because what you're being told, how you're being coached, doesn't always translate exactly like that on the field. It doesn't transpire like that on the field all the time. All right, it's things happen, and you have to improvise. You got to overcome. You got to adapt, and that's what he's got to have to do, and use his instincts to make plays, not sit in the pocket like they want me to win. They want me to win from here. They want me to win from here. They want me to win from here. I got to hold it. No, you don't got to hold it. Get out and run. Use the weapon that's one of the most dangerous in the entire NFL.
No doubt. I think one of the things also is that, he is definitely trying to go through all the reads. And a lot of times, like you said, you don't have time to go through all the reads in the NFL, and you just have to be able to make a play. I think, this week in Kansas City, I think we're going to see a little bit more of that, a little bit more decisiveness, and a little bit more juice out of Justin.
I hope so. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting them to. I'm expecting him to just kind of let it flow. Just let it go, man. All right, it's football. Have fun. Do what do what you can. If you're overmatched, you're overmatched. All right, but you are he's the ultimate equalizer. All right, because you can't account for a guy when this dude is running away from everybody. Come on, man, running away from everybody, not almost everybody, everybody.
Right.
So, moving on. Talk to me about what you thought about Ryan Poles and Luke Getsy's responses today. All right, Ryan Poles took to the media today. Was at the press table today, talking about the whole situation, everything that's happening with the Bears. Give me your thoughts on the responses from Ryan Poles and Luke Getsy.
You know what? I think Ryan Poles was, it was a good thing for him to come out. Good thing for him to come out and speak today. It was, very much needed considering everything that happened. You had, the Justin Fields press conference and, the story about Alan Williams, resigning, under, wild speculations. So I think, he just had to come in, just put his foot down and say, we're not panicking. We're going to stay the course and, we're going to improve. We're down right now, but, he believes in everybody. He believes in Justin. He believes in the coaching staff. And I think this is a good singular message that, you have to, it has to come from the top down. And I think him, being the architect of this team, he wants to see it through and see, he wants to reap the benefits, of all his hard work. So he needs to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And if they're not on the same page, they better get on the same page. And I think, that's more of what the statement was made in so many words, him being available to kind of, take the brunt of it, kind of helped, his coaching staff out a lot, and helping them being able to prepare for Kansas City as well.
Your thoughts, you mentioned it early in your answer. Give me your thoughts on the Alan Williams resignation. All right. That was the first thing that happened at Hallis Hall yesterday before the press conference. Coach Eberflus, when asked and pressed about it, he says, I have no update. Obviously, he knew because he knew what the situation was because he had resigned already. And then give me your thoughts, but also give me your thoughts on how quickly social media picked something up and just ran with it. Nothing's confirmed. Everybody's got sources. I got sources to say this, sources to say that, sources to say this. And whole bunch of people came out, and a lot of people had to eat crow. And there was no raid at Hallis Hall. All right, there's nothing confirmed about. They confirmed it, but there's nothing about the Alan Williams house. Notice the Bears keep saying there was no raid here. They're not talking about Alan Williams' house, so we still got to wait and see what happens there.
I think a lot of it, the speculation, so much speculation is out there because the Bears really, they've kind of distanced themselves kind of from the situation, so to speak.
Yeah, they did.
I know that Alan Williams, had his attorney, go on numerous, media outlets. He was on The Score. He was on ABC7. And, he talked to a few, beat writers and reporters as well, stating that, he had some health and, personal problems that he was dealing with. And, the Bears have not said anything about that, which, any one way or the other. And in fact, they've made it, it's kind of like they got a company line, like, we're not going to talk about this. So,
well, doesn't that lead you to believe that something is rotten in Denmark? Because there was only a 12-word response. They just said Alan Williams turned his resignation. Right. They didn't wish him well. They didn't say thank you for all you've done. Right. They just said he tendered his resignation. Period.
Exactly, and and that's just like one of those things. Like it's crazy to me because you spend so much time with a person, you playing professional football, they spend a lot of time together, players, coaches, and everything. He followed, Coach Eberflus from Indianapolis. So, I imagine, I would say that, those two are pretty close. And for him not to say anything, or saying I hope he does better and he's doing the right thing that he needs to
Yeah.
do. He didn't say any of that.
None of that, dude. Yeah.
He didn't say any of that. So the speculation is that something foul is amiss, and if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So I mean, I mean, we've seen these things happen with different programs. Most recently, with Northwestern. Then we've seen it, back a few years ago with Penn State, and you see these kinds of things happen, and people be hush on it. The fact that they keep saying there was no raid at Hallis Hall, they're pretty much just trying to say, hey, nothing illegal happened here. Pretty much.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what it boils down to. There was no raid at Hallis Hall. They didn't say it wasn't a raid at Alan Williams' house, but no raid at Hallis Hall. They're pretty much trying to distance themselves. None of this stuff that what he was involved with was happening here, and none of us knew about it. That's pretty much what the company line is. If you read between the lines.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, and they've distanced themselves very well. Like I said, from the short response to his press con when their press release saying about his resignation was very short. They're have no update on that from Coach Eberflus after he knew that Coach Williams had resigned, and under what situation. And then it just bugged me how everybody took things and ran with it, and not too many people are going to apologize by, because they'll put it out. Everybody wants to be first. They don't necessarily want to be right. They don't want to be right.
Exactly, and honestly, I hope nothing bad. I hope Alec Williams, didn't do anything bad at all, because then we don't have to worry about criminal activity. That's the thing. You don't ever want anything bad to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, for them to say Peanut Tillman was involved, and Peanut Tillman, who's now an FBI agent, was raiding Hallis Hall. It was a wild, grandiose story.
Man, the NFL, the Bears came out, and Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network came out and said Peanut's not involved. There's no raid at Hallis Hall. And it's like, a lot of people got to eat crow. All right. There was a lot of people that got to eat crow. And you know what? Some people, one guy's like, I still stand on my reporting. Okay, well, the Hallis Hall said there wasn't, and NFL said there wasn't. All right. You look foolish. Peanut, and they said Peanut Tillman's not involved. Yeah, you look foolish. Don't worry about being first. Make sure you're right. But then again, that's the whole thing with this in this society and this type of platforms. People don't care. They're not actual classically trained journalists. They're just people hopping on a platform and they hear something and they run with it because they want to be first.
Right. Correct.
Give me your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes. The word got to Patrick Mahomes about everything happening here, and he's like, you know what? I feel bad for Justin, and just do what you want to, just be you, and blah, 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 blah. Give me your thoughts. You think it's condescending, or do you think, he even should have made any comments?
You know what? I think Patrick Mahomes was genuine in his remarks. I do think he recognizes the skill and talent in Justin Fields and knows that he can ball. I think real recognizes real. I think that at the same time, though, I wouldn't, you got your opponent saying, I feel bad for you. I don't know. That seems like it could be kind of, bulletin board material. A little bit. It was kind of condescending, and when now that you think about it, but I do think Mahomes is genuine, and he's been under the microscope for a long time now, and he's the best player in the league, the MVP, and right now the winningest quarterback, active quarterback, I think so he has a lot to offer in that sense. Right now, he's dealing with Nagy as well too, who's messing up their offense because they haven't looked like Kansas City since Eric Bieniemy left. They have not. That's just the truth. They've stunk. They're running reverses on the goal line. That's definitely Nagy doing that silly stuff. So I think he can kind of relate to Justin a little bit. They both had the same dealt with the same voices, so to speak, in their career, and kind of have a grasp of a grasp of being athletic and being able to do certain things that most people can't. So I think it was a show of support, but at the same time, I think I don't want to be one of those people, to want sympathy from my opponent. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think it's just one of those double-edged swords. It's kind of like a backhanded type of
compliment.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, we're gonna wrap this up, but you know what? Give me your thoughts on the final score then for Sunday to play in the afternoon game, the second slot, 3:25 game down in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, and they lost week 1 to the Detroit Lions. I mean, obviously they didn't have Chris Jones, they didn't have Kelsey. Kelsey's back, and he's 100%. Jones has signed a contract, he's ready to go. But they still, they looked good last week, but that's 1 week. So Your thoughts? Give me your thoughts. Who wins and your score?
Here's the thing. I think given the events of this week, you would be a fool to pick the Bears to go into Arrowhead and win on the road. But I think, these guys are tired of, being, bad mouthed and, and ostracized and criticized and ridiculed. And it's all their own doing, but at the same time, saying it's time to put your foot down. But that doesn't mean that they're going to win, but I think they're going to play much better. I think the spread is 12 and a half. I think, Kansas City's giving 12 and a half. And I think the Bears will be a little, I think the Bears will be better than that. I think they'll make a game out of it. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it is. I think it's going to be a shootout. And a score, I'm probably leaning towards like 31, 24, 31, 28, something in that range.
Interesting. Okay. I don't have the Bears winning either. I do think that the Bears come out and they show a lot of offense. I think they show, but the thing that has me concerned is Kansas City can run the ball at times. And that's the issue that I have. And they start running the ball, they're going to gash us. And then, we got to bring somebody down. And then now you're really opening up stuff in the back. But with that being said, I do think Justin Fields is going to be ready. I think Luke Getsy's going to have a different type of game plan where you're going to utilize Justin Fields to the max of his abilities, and that's the thing that you want to do. All right, when you start changing people, like he'll eventually get it. He was a great thrower at Ohio State. All right, you have to understand his offensive line sucks. All right, the front three, which is the run game, 2 guards in the center, that sucks. All right, the front three, which is the shortest distance between a quarterback and a one technique or a nose guard, whatever. That's the shortest distance. The center sucks. So you got those 3 positions, the 2 guards and the tackle are weakened. Lucas Patrick is a horrible center. Cody Whitehair is much better, but he's at guard, so he's not. So now you've weakened that, but then he's not as good a guard as Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins is out, and Nate Davis is out. So you got actually Nate Davis should be back this week, but Nate Davis was out, and you had Tyree Carter. So you had all 3 positions weak. So now you get Nate Davis back this week. Okay, we got to see what the deal is with Tevin Jenkins. All right. As soon as Tevin Jenkins comes back and you're allowed to put Cody Whitehair back to center, watch how this team changes. Watch how well this team runs the football. And if they start running the football, all of a sudden now Justin Fields is going to have a lot more area behind that second level. But being long-winded, I don't think they win. I think it's I have what scores you had 20, 31, 20, 34, 31. 24.
I said 31-24.
You did, and then you said 31-28, somewhere in there. But
I'll go with 31-24.
Yeah, and that's funny. That's exactly the score I had. 31-24. They're short. All right, maybe 27 to kick a field goal, but I think it's 24. Just a 1-score game, and I think Justin Fields really has a breakout. And then when he comes home to place Denver, I think he really goes ham. I think he's going to go ham. So, man. It was fun. It was fun, Joe. It was fun now. And Saul should be back next week, and he'll be hosting it again. But it was good to sit in for him and host it. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
I am on Twitter. Well, it's called X now, but and IG at Badman Tanksley. You can see us on our YouTube channel at WARR Media.
Yeah, and in the Sports Zone Chicago in collaboration with WARR Media. I appreciate the the love and the support. We can always cross pollinate and
No doubt.
Expose your people to my people and my people to your people, and just grow this thing as big as possible. So we'll see you guys next week. The Bears Den will be back. Like I said, Saul should be back hosting next week, and it's been fun hosting, and we will see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.
Peace.